Still with us, attorneys Nicole DeWitt Lacy. I think I got ahead of myself because I was excited to talk to you both about this. Another stand your ground case in which the reasonable person standard applies. Were they in fear of their life when they used deadly force, in this case by Marcus Wilson? DeWitt, what is the landscape like with these more than one stand your ground cases, and what direction do you think we might be headed as a society?
Well, I hope that we're headed in a direction where stand your ground laws are abandoned by local municipalities, because I don't believe it does anything to keep any of us safer. As a matter of fact, I think the old adage is an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. And if everybody's going to pack up and shoot guns, then this is going to turn back into the Wild West. I think we've tried that, and it doesn't work too well. But some important things to consider in this particular case, I think, are the facts of mixed company that the defense attorney spoke to. Right? Everybody is not going to be okay with interracial relationships, and maybe Wilson's girlfriend, didn't hear it. But I'll tell you, speaking from experience as a black man, I can hear that word or those type of slurs very easily. Right? I know when somebody's saying them, and that's not saying that you falsely accuse people, but we all have been in circumstances where people are not necessarily accepting of our company, and we get those vibes, so to speak. So it'll be interesting to see how this case turns out, and we look forward to what the judge is going to say.
And DeWitt, let's be honest, those words should never be used, right? We hear this over and over in case, time and time, and people doing it, and people are going to do it, but they shouldn't. It shouldn't happen in the first place. But stand your ground. Let's go back to that piece. Nicole, your thoughts about stand your ground, as a defense.
Sometimes I feel like the idea of stand your ground is made more complicated than it needs to be. The reality is that if a person is threatened with deadly force or believes their lives are in danger, most states have some sort of mechanism for the person in danger to be able to use deadly force. We've kind of got this politically charged phrase now, stand your ground, but it's really a simple question of how far will the law allow someone to go who is under threat of violence or being killed themselves. And I think that there's a racial component, obviously, in this case that a lot of people are watching. This is a black defendant who is charged with using that self-defense. And I think people are very curious to see how the court ultimately will apply it when the defendant is not white.
And stand your ground means you're immune from prosecution if the judge agrees with that. On the other side is self-defense if you go to trial. I want to thank you both, Nicole DeWitt and DeWitt Lacy, for joining us today. Always appreciate your expert analysis. Up next, when we come back, the Hankison verdict. And